Tonight on UATV, with spring break approaching, you might want the perfect skin tone while relaxing on the beach. We'll give you tips for safe tanning in the area.
And will there be a runoff for ASG? We'll tell you what candidates are concerned about in this election.
And if it goes to runoff, we're not going to stop. We're just going to keep going with the intensity that we have been going, almost as intense as it's wind. Yeah, we're just not going to hold back.
And later, some seniors are getting ready for their farewell, what students are doing to prepare for graduation.
Welcome to UATV. I'm Savannah Skidmore.
And I'm Chris Redfern. Thank you for joining us. Well, melanoma is increasing faster than ever in women between the ages of 15 and 29 years old, and 70% of tanning salon members are Caucasian young women. Adrienne Rosa tells us about the effects students that are going somewhere for spring break.
Thanks, Chris. When talking to students today about why they weren't more aware of the dangers of tanning, they replied that it didn't affect them because it wasn't happening to them. But this isn't the case for everybody.
Many students have been prepping for spring break at local tanning salons. Tanning beds may be found at apartment complexes around almost every corner.
Tanning in a tanning bed is more convenient. I mean, I guess you could be pale, but no one wants to be pale.
A poll shows that 59% of college students admit to tanning at least once during their lifetime. Rebecca Dixon is no exception.
When I did tan, I tanned like a couple times a week, maybe every other day, it was probably like 2 years.
Tanning for spring break made Dixon feel better about her appearance.
For me, I just thought I looked better being tan because you look more toned. You can't see blemishes on your face, so that's why I enjoyed tanning.
What she didn't expect was bronze skin to turn into the first level of melanoma.
Right after I got the melanoma cut out, I was done. I won't tan in the tanning bed.
Now she gets spray tans and uses tinted lotions to achieve the look she wants without running the risk of damaging her skin. Reporting for UATV, I'm Adrienne Rose.
Rebecca assures me as she heads to Mexico next week for spring break that she'll be sure to apply sunscreen constantly. Reporting live for UATV, I'm Adrienne Rose.
Sunscreen can help those who will be exposed to the sun over the break. It's best to apply this lotion around 10 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon, as these are when the UV rays are the strongest. Sunscreen may be important during spring break, but it's not the only useful advice for spring breakers. The Pat Walker Health Center released its spring break health and safety tips, which include protecting yourself from STDs, balancing your diet, staying hydrated, as well as being a smart traveler.
The beach isn't the only place attracting big waves during spring break. An increase in gym goers has led several people to fall victim to the pressure of spring break. U of A student Haley DeWeese says with spring break coming up, she wanted to be proud of the way she looks on the beach and in pictures.
Confidence is a big thing that's important, especially in girls on the beach. I just feel like if you're proud of yourself, even if it's just small milestones and you're proud of yourself because you worked hard to get to where you are, I think that's important.
According to DeWeese, who is also a Hyper employee, more students come to the gym to work out right before spring break than any other time. DeWeese also says she's still working on maintaining a healthier attitude towards spring break.
And as spring break approaches, some students may not have the vacation they've been hoping for. UATV reporter Chandler Rack tells us how the flu is being spread and what safety precautions you should take to avoid getting it. Chandler?
Not covering your mouth when you cough are just some of the many ways that this virus is being spread. Take a look.
What are you needing to be seen for?
Spring is a time for rainstorms, blooming flowers, and the spread of the flu. Many students at the University of Arkansas are reporting their symptoms.
Coughing, headache, sore throat.
Megan Eads is a junior at the University of Arkansas who is just one of the many that got the flu.
I started feeling like allergies and my head was hurting. I was really congested. I was having body aches and my whole body was just aching and I wasn't feeling very good.
Eads says she began feeling sick last weekend, but avoided going to the doctor. However, she decided to get medicine when her symptoms didn't go away.
Amoxicillin, which is an antibiotic to help me I don't really know what it's for, but I think it's just to help me get rid of the congestion.
Pat Walker, the on-campus health clinic, is seeing more students with flu-like symptoms in the month of March.
It wasn't just until the last few weeks that it started to really pick up.
Zach Brown is the Assistant Director of Communications at Pat Walker Health Center. He says that the flu virus is spreading due to students not covering their mouth when they cough, stress with school, and not knowing they have the virus.
You can actually transmit the flu a day before you feel symptoms, and then of course 5 to 7 days, up to and after feeling symptoms.
He advises students to get the flu vaccination because it can prevent or lessen the symptoms.
Spending 10 minutes of your day to get pricked in the arm, just to keep yourself from a week of misery, sign me up.
You can receive the flu shot at the allergy, immunization, and travel clinic.
Take the flu shot so you don't get sick and feel bad.
This virus spreads through coughing and sneezing, and then when people pick up this virus by touching the infected surfaces. The best way to avoid receiving the cold or flu is to wash your hands frequently. For those who have the cold or flu, cover your hands or mouth when you with your sleeve when you cough. For our UATV, I'm Chandler Rack. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Chandler. If you do have a fever, do not go to class or work, and don't return until your fever has gone away for more than 24 hours. We saw some sunny springtime weather today, but let's head over to Selena to hear what it's like right now. Selena?
Well, I'm sure you have been enjoying these beautiful days of weather, and that's going to continue throughout the week. Now, currently, you're looking at about 58 degrees. It only feels like 56, and that's pretty mild. We expect something like that for springtime, but our temperatures are just the lows are going to start getting a little bit lower. Now, with all this beautiful weather we've been talking about, let's take a look at the Golf Forecast Index. If you're staying in Northwest Arkansas for this spring break, it looks like golf is the sport to do. Now, if you want to practice your swing, we're looking at 10 out of 10 on the Golf Index, as well as across the nation, especially in this region, we're looking at great forecasts. But for those of you who are going outside of state, I'm going to have a look at your interstate conditions for Saturday and Sunday for those who may be traveling, as well as your 5-day forecast. Back to you guys.
And now an update on a Washington County deputy shot yesterday. Lieutenant Tion Augustine was shot in the hip while responding to a report of a suicidal person. The bullet went all the way through his hip, missing vital organs by less than an inch. According to the Washington County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Augustine is now recovering at Washington Regional Medical Center. 24-year-old Raymond Plumley faces multiple charges in the incident.
One new technology is hoping to prevent sexual assault on college campuses. WearSpace is a small Bluetooth tag that connects to an iPhone app. If a student feels unsafe, they can press the button and it sends an automatic message alerting friends in that network of their exact location with an audio recording as well. Evidence this specific can play a key role in the justice system.
They happen at parties or after a date, they have a few drinks with a guy or girl, and then the sexual assault happens, and so of course there's no camera to know that it happened.
The gear is sold in Connecticut, where the company was founded, but there are plans to partner with universities across the country soon.
A philosophy professor is teaching ethics from the perspective of a DC Comics icon. For Andrew Kirshner, Superman is more than just a creative teaching method. He says he likes to use the hero as a moral exemplar in his class.
God stuff comes up a lot, especially in ethics, because there are a lot of ethical theories that deal with God. And Superman is an excellent bridge between some of the really standard ethical theories and some of the godly aspects that I try to work into my teaching.
He says he's felt a little like Clark Kent since his parents bought him his first set of glasses.
The Wellness Center is now offering several different classes for a healthy mind and body. The brand new extension of University Recreation and Pat Walker Health Center opened its doors in the Garland Parking Garage Shopping Center. It has not begun its full functions, but started classes like Yoga for the Presence of Mind last week. The goal of the Wellness Center is to bring physical and mental health to all U of A students.
So this brings this beautiful package of health to everybody, that they can get that balance that everybody needs to be healthy.
Koru classes and Tai Chi classes are also taking place at the Wellness Center.
More election results from Super Tuesday, where your favorite candidates stand.
And you've seen ASG candidates promoting all around campus with free stuff, what they might be worried about this election season when we return.
President Obama announced his nomination to fill the vacant Supreme Court seat. Merrick Garland is the Chief Judge for the U.S. Court of Appeals in D.C. Former President and native Arkansan Bill Clinton appointed Garland in 1997. This is the next move in the battle with Senate Republicans who do not want to accept a nomination until a new president is in office. Results are in from Super Tuesday number 3, giving 2 candidates a larger lead and forcing one to bow out. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump took home victories in Illinois, North Carolina, and Florida, with Clinton picking up the extra win in Ohio. Marco Rubio also dropped out of the race after losing to Trump in his home state of Florida.
If you were anywhere on campus today, you might have noticed the tents full of free stuff being passed out. ASG elections ended just a few hours ago, and reporter Lauren Pizzi has more on why students and candidates are expecting a runoff election.
ASG elections have been going on the past few days and voter turnout is high. There's greater student interest than in the last few years. 4 candidates are running for the office of President, Vice President, Treasurer, and Secretary. Voting ended this afternoon, but there's a good chance for runoff elections after spring break.
The runoff is like between the top 2 people with the most votes. And so in runoff, it kind of cuts that down to where there's only 2 tickets running.
In order to win the general election, candidates must win 51% of the vote.
I'm here at the Greek Theater, where earlier today I spoke with all 4 tickets that are running for ASG elections all over campus, and they are telling me what they plan to do if there is a runoff election.
Our biggest push for a runoff is kind of what we've been doing. It's more about social media, getting the word out there, word of mouth. We have an incredible campaign team. There's about 200 of them, and they're the most dedicated people.
We're trying to stay low budget. We're out here with the people. We're out here campaigning as low cost as we can. We feel that spending the money is not necessarily as important as getting the message out there and trying to build the support.
And if it goes to runoff, we're not going to stop. We're just going to keep going with the intensity that we have been going, almost as intense as this wind. Yeah, we're just not going to hold back.
If we are lucky enough to be chosen for a runoff, if that's the case, I mean, we're going to go back to the drawing boards. We're going to come up with a couple more ideas. We're going to reach out to as many students as possible.
You can find out the results of the election tomorrow night at 5 p.m. in the Union Mall. I'm Lauren
If
Pizzi.
no ticket wins 51% of the vote, a runoff election will take place after spring break.
Some seniors are preparing for the end. How students are preparing for spring graduation.
And JT Bush will be live with your sports report. Stay tuned to hear how the Diamond Hogs finish out their 11-game homestand.
This Wednesday night edition of UATV News, we're going to take a look at your surface conditions here in the United States. This is that high pressure system that is giving us those mild and beautiful temperatures that remind us of spring break. And over here in the Great Lakes region, this is the low pressure system that just brought numerous tornadoes to Illinois in the Chicago area yesterday. So on our next map, we'll take a look at the winds, or the infrared satellite, excuse me. You can see this counterclockwise motion of this moisture in the sky, as well as what we see here in New York. But the winds are what I really want to show you, because on the winds you can really see the counterclockwise motion here. And well, here we go. We got gusts in Chicago up to 45 miles per hour today. That's the kind of wind that you don't want to be in, and you definitely don't want to be wearing a hat at the same time. So let's take a look at the temperatures across the country. Here in Florida, 80 degrees. That is sunny and 75, just what you want for spring break for those who are traveling there. And milder temperatures here in the Pacific Northwest. But here are your interstate forecasts. Now this is Saturday, so here in Arkansas, we have pretty good conditions for our interstates, but as you move into Mississippi and even into parts of Florida, you're going to see the interstates starting to have a little bit more traffic, and some of the weather may be affecting it as well. Now let's look at Sunday, because some people may be traveling on Sunday. Here in the eastern portion of the United States, travel is not what you want to be doing on Sunday. But anywhere else in the United States, you're going to be looking at great travel conditions, and it's really important to remember the weather when you're making these long trips. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 5-day forecast. On Thursday, it's going to be 67 degrees. The low is going to be 38. We can see the lows are going to start dropping and dropping. And on Friday, we're going to see 58 degrees. The low is going to be 33. Now, on Friday night, there's going to be a chance of showers, so that brings Saturday at 54 degrees, partly cloudy. Now, the low is going to be 29 degrees, so please do not forget about that. Sunday, 56 degrees, the low 34, and Monday, to wrap it up, 66 degrees, and the low is 46. But I will be back with tomorrow's weather in a little bit. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Selena. Well, students are preparing to graduate and have already started picking up their regalia. Reporter Jordan Martin spoke with students to get an idea of what graduation is like.
The grad salute at the U of A bookstore is well underway for the spring graduates, and students are hopeful about the future. Brandon Higgins just completed his master's degree in social work and is headed to Minnesota to work on a PhD.
So, that's another 5 years, so graduation just like,
Higgins hopes his master's degree will be an inspiration to children in foster care.
Well, I was a foster kid, so just coming out of the system and I feel like having a success story and statistically I'm not supposed to be here, so to complete my master's and go on to my PhD is really exciting.
3,000 students will soon be getting their gowns, mortarboards, and tassels. Some are ordering class rings and frames for their diplomas. Some students, like Brooks Rawson, graduated in December but is walking this spring.
It's pretty surreal. Going to school my whole life, and now it's pretty much over. Hoping to just take it one step at a time and try to slowly figure the world out.
The commencement ceremonies will be 2 months from now. For UATV, I'm Jordan Martin.
The salute will continue through the rest of the week and will end on Friday at 6.
I'm JT Bush, live out of Vocal Park, where the Arkansas softball team played a great game today. All the highlights next. We'll take you to the football field where the seniors showed off for the NFL scouts today. First, our trivia questions. What year did the NFL draft the most Razorback football players? The answer, next.